We got the plan set up?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
We're talking about, right?
That's hilarious because, okay, I'm not sure if you intentionally cut that out yourself or if the mic cut out on you again, but that was hilarious.
What did it say?
We're talking about, right?
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Oh, that was just my mic because I said the X-Wing 2 coming out.
Oh, X-Wing 2, bro. We got that reboot coming, bro.
Right.
Wow.
I actually was not paying. I saw you guys talking about that, but I did not pay attention to it at all.
It looks good. It's a good time to get back in.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna cost $100, but it looks like a good time to get back in.
I don't think I'm gonna have $100 for a while.
Well, it's not gonna come out for a while. It's like 6 months away.
Oh.
Yeah.
I still might not have $100.
That's okay. I guess technically you only need. No, you need the new damage deck. You will need the new templates and you'll need the conversion, the faction conversion, which is good though because now you can just get the faction stuff. You can buy just within your faction and have everything you need now. No more cross buying needed.
Hey.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. Okay.
And there's more factions, yeah?
There will be more factions because they split up Imperial and First Order and Resistance and Rebellion. So,
Nice.
which means that it's possible we could get the prequel stuff, but that's another topic for another time.
All right. What we've gathered here today for is to talk about, Avengers Infinity War. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
We are not going to hold our tongues about anything.
We watched the most recent X-Men movie. this is the X-Men, right? X-Force.
Right. We watched Justice League Dark, the new Justice League movie.
Yes. So this came out recently. We all watched it. I was the last one to watch it because I was broke for a little bit, and then I got money, so I watched it like real quick. So we're gonna talk about it today. First, if you haven't heard us before, we're the Rektfast Club, obviously. So, as you can see by the title of the channel and the title of the podcast. So who do we have on the Rektfast Club podcast here today? Who's on the podcast?
Well, I mean, I'm on this podcast.
You are?
Yes.
What's your name?
Say hi to me.
Who are you?
I am Noe, aka Fat Hazard, aka Fat Guy, with that guy, Fat Guy. And I have thoughts, opinions, and stuff, and I'm a big comic book nerd.
Probably the token comic dude.
Yeah, pretty much. Who else we got on here, huh?
My name is Philip. And that's it.
I think it did it again.
I'm not sure if he did it again, but that was great. He's the token board game guy, kind of. And I'm John. I play video games. I don't do much else.
I think we lost you again for a little bit there, Phil.
That's
Sorry.
fine. Who needs him?
Here.
Roll call. Okay.
Right.
So we're changing up the podcast a little bit this week. Normally we talk about stuff that we did last time, and then other stuff that's been going on within the nerdy realms of comics and video games and movies and all that stuff. But this time we're gonna go straight into it and just talk about a little bit about Infinity War because there's a fuck ton to talk about here.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about how Darkseid got a hold of the Galaxy Belt and spanked everybody.
That's not what happened.
He seriously spanked Rorschach out of existence.
Is that a thing? The Galaxy Belt? There's just a heavyweight. There's just a heavyweight title.
Darkseid got a hold of the Galaxy Belt, and he had to get it from Hulk Hogan, who got it from
Brock Lesnar. Oh, Goldberg. Okay, Goldberg got it from Brock Lesnar, though.
And Goldberg got it from Paul Levesque. So yeah,
that's a real name. Wrestling.
Wrestling's a thing. No, but yeah, we're talking about Avengers Infinity War, how amazing this movie was, and pretty much I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody here, but I'm gonna say this movie for me lived up to the hype. Like, I didn't think it would be able to live up to the hype, and it did.
I would agree. It definitely lived up to some of that hype that was going on. It definitely lived up to its own sales numbers.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's already at like 800 million.
And that's because it hasn't even opened in China yet.
Oh
Wait
man.
till it opens in China. But yeah, again, quick warning, spoiler alerts. This is a spoiler cast. We're gonna be talking big about this movie.
Big, huge spoilers. Like, in 5 seconds, Noe will drop a spoiler. So, if you're even listening right now, then go away. If you couldn't tell from the image or the name of the podcast episode, this is a spoiler cast.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop a spoiler on us, Noe.
So Heimdall and Loki get fucking murdered right out of the gate.
Minute 1.
Like, not even like within 5 seconds of the movie start. Okay, so we literally open up to pretty much the end of Thor Ragnarok, right? Where they've already been slaughtered. It looks like everyone's dead from fucking.
Only half. Thanos only kills half.
Allegedly.
Which we find out is only half. Apparently, Valkyrie and Korg and all them made it off. Apparently, but we open up with Thor's head in like Thanos' hand. Loki trying to squirrel his way out of it. Heimdall, whatever, however you want to say his name, is not looking so great. And pretty much, Loki gives up the Tesseract, which is the Space Stone, I believe.
Yes.
And then the Hulk shows up, and the Hulk gets bodied. Doesn't kind of lose to Thanos. He gets bodied into the ground by Thanos, which causes Heimdall to pretty much pull the Hail Mary of Hail Marys, because he's a fucking G like that.
Right.
And send him to Earth to warn Earth about his incursion. And we see him kill Loki, like, out of the gate, before we even get the title screen.
Yeah.
Jesus. You want to talk about setting the tone for the rest of this movie? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Now, is he gonna do a Loki move and come back?
I don't know. Thanos in that scene like specifically says there will be no what's the word? There will be no revive, whatever the fuck he said. I can't remember the word he used, but he's like, you're not coming back this time.
Yeah.
So I don't know
also, even though I know Loki's the god of mischief, I don't know if he can sleight of hand Thanos. Not with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, that passive perception's pretty high, bro.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure if we were going to compare this to a D&D game, Thanos was rolling 20s the entire movie. Every time.
He just had pocketed loaded dice. It's just like everything on the dice says 18 plus, and 10 of the sides on a D20 are 20.
Which brings me to the next thing, because originally in the comics, you have
the helicopter.
Right. Well, originally in the comics, it's not Hulk going back, like getting thrown into Doctor Strange's home or his safe place or whatever. It's the Silver Surfer. He's the one who's bringing the warning, because the Silver Surfer is the one who comes across Thanos in the comics, collecting the gauntlet and the stones. So he gets thrown by Thanos, and he uses that to get himself to Earth. He tries to warn them, and essentially kind of what happens in the movie, they literally had but all 5 seconds, and then they show up. The what is the group called? I should know this. Thanos' little squad. I can't remember what their freaking name is.
Black something or dark something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're bigger, like, entities in the comics. I felt like they were very underutilized in this movie.
Called the Black Order.
The Black Order. There you go. Yeah, they
have
big. And so, anyways, they show up. You get this nice banter between, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark and all that good stuff. They show up.
You mean Sherlock and Sherlock?
Yeah, Sherlock and Sherlock. And so yeah, you get this nice conversation of them talking about it, and then Mark Ruffalo shows back up, or Bruce Banner shows back up, and kind of just right out of the gate, hell breaks loose on Earth. Like, they're there, they're attacking, they're trying to get the Eye of Agamotto straight out, and somehow I don't know if you guys notice this. Usually, like when humor's like reined into a movie that's this serious, I usually feel like it's forced, but for some reason it felt perfectly fine because I think it felt really to the characters. They're like their first meeting. They're trying to deal with the situation and with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like like everybody played off each other correctly.
Yeah,
In the characters.
I think they pulled off the comedy in this one really well. Like it
I
didn't
think
feel forced. It still like kind of had that MCU formulaic, like you can tell when one's about to come, but like they still landed, and it didn't really feel like wrong because of the character. You know that the characters are that way, so
Yeah, I think it's because that's like Tony's coping mechanism with everything. He just
Hmm.
yeah,
jokes,
that's true.
That's true.
and
And I
then
honestly love the line where he's like, Bruce, what are you doing? You embarrassed me in front of the wizard. Because he's asking him to become the Hulk.
That was a personal favorite right there. Also, I did
Yeah,
like that.
And then, of course, you had Peter showing up and, being quippy, as, Spider-Man is.
Because that's what Spider-Man is. Yeah, exactly. That's part of the reason is like it works for this movie because you know that all of those characters are like that, at least set up within the MCU. And that's the benefit of having an 18 movie series.
Yeah.
18, 20, 19 million.
so I didn't realize, John, you went and saw it the 10th anniversary.
The what?
You saw it on the 10th anniversary of Iron Man 1.
Did I really? Like the same day? Nice.
What?
I'm a cool
What
guy.
What day did you see it on?
Apparently, the 10th anniversary of Iron Man 1 being released. That's when I saw Infinity War. That's a nice little coincidence.
Yeah, that is, actually. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and the day before, because I wasn't caught up on MCU, the day before I had to watch Black Panther, so that was like that was an experience going day to day, back to back those two movies.
Yeah, Black Panther was... See, so really quick with Black Panther, I felt like the high point of the end or the climax wasn't as great as I was hoping it to be, but it was still overall a good movie and a good ending.
I'd agree with that. I think overall the movie was good. I wasn't too too impressed with the last like moments of it, but yeah, overall I did like that movie.
The ending was perfect, man.
I felt like the final fight should have been just like no suits, just bare fist, fucking throwdown fight between the two. Like if they given us that instead of what they gave us, I felt like it would have been a little better. But I think that's more of a personal taste on my end.
Get that girl and log on shit going.
Yes,
I knew where you. I knew that. I knew it.
But anyway, so pretty much they fail at keeping them from getting the stone, or rather kidnapping Doctor Strange, because that's what they do, right? They end up capturing him.
Yes. And
Spider-Man jumps on the ship, Tony jumps on the ship, and they pretty much get pulled into space, leaving everyone else back on Earth just like wondering what the hell's going on. And if I'm correct,
know where they're at.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Goes and warns them. He goes to.
That's right.
He goes to find Cap and Black Widow and Falcon.
Right, because they need to find Vision, because he's got the Mind Stone.
Yep.
And so we cut to Scotland, which is where Scarlet Witch and Vision are, and they're pretty much having their little getaway. I don't know about you guys, but they did a really good job of just completely catching me off guard with Vision getting stabbed through the chest as they're going about their banter between the two.
Yeah,
characters.
I didn't see that coming either.
And I felt like that was a really good way. I felt it was good enough to warrant Vision being kind of the way he was for the entirety of the movie, which is not 100% able to fight and being helpful, because he was like destroyed by whatever the fuck that thing's made of. Also,
I think it was made. I think it had something to like destroy.
Yeah, they pointed out how it disabled his ability to phase, and they're like, that shouldn't be possible, but it was. So
right, and I I also like the fact that throughout that entire like ordeal before Cap shows up, that Scarlet Witch is trying to take care of herself and him,
Mm-hmm.
and it just showed you the range and how strong she actually is, because she was kind of not really holding her own, but she was doing a damn good job of trying to get them moving.
She was. I liked her in this movie, and I haven't cared much for Scarlet Witch previously, but I liked her in this movie.
I also felt like even though when we first get introduced to the romance in I forgot which movie,
I want to say it was Civil War.
Civil War.
It was Civil War.
Yeah. I felt like there it was a little out of left field, but then again, how would you start a relationship between two of the characters without taking an enormous amount of time
Right.
from the movie?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I had forgotten it was a thing, but by the time that they kind of presented it in this movie, it felt done well. So it was like, yeah, this. I mean, I forgot that I felt weird about it before.
yeah.
I think it also, because there's a lot of time that passed that you don't realize, they were staying in Tony Stark's Avengers thing while.
Yeah.
And so they might have behind the scenes, I guess, that we didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really good, and I love the shot of when they realize Cap is there. Like they throw the spear gets thrown at him, and he just catches it and just walks out of the shadow like a boss, like ready to just throw down. And obviously they beat the hell out of the guys that were there. They leave defeated, and they go back to, I guess, Avengers Tower, or not Avengers Tower, but Avengers headquarters.
Right. Yeah, the jail cells.
Eh.
Got to go back to jail. Go to the jail because you like.
I don't
the jail.
know if they go there right away, or if we cut back to, or we cut to Guardians responding to the distress signal from.
I think they cut to Guardians before that, technically, but it might have been right after. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there's a lot that happens in this movie, and
yeah, there's a whole lot of jumping around, and you kind of have to with a cast this big and a setting this huge. So I can get that some people might have some trouble following along, and if you've never watched any of the other movies if you're not caught up on the MCU, none of this is going to make sense. So
right, that's the only I guess issue you could have with this movie is this movie doesn't really hold any weight unless you've been keeping up with everything for the past 10 years.
Yeah, and I mean there's also like journalists and reviewers that are just like, oh, this is trash because it doesn't explain anything, but it's like, you gotta watch the series, you gotta watch the whole thing. I'm sorry, but this is, unless you wanted a 5-hour movie, we could not have enough time to explain everything unless you've been watching everything.
I don't even think they could do it in 5 if they wanted to, allow you to not have to watch the others.
To explain everything, there's 8 movies that you needed to see. It was like both Avenger movies.
Mm-hmm.
And
you had to at least seen
Doctor
Thor.
Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, The Last Thor, both Guardians, both
Thor
Avengers
2.
movies.
Not.
Hmm?
Thor 2. You didn't need to see the last Thor, actually. Thor 2.
I would say
to get all the Infinity Stones.
Okay, yeah, I definitely Thor 2, but I would definitely say you also need Ragnarok.
Well,
you need the last bits of Ragnarok.
Yeah, you would need the last bits of Ragnarok. And no, I would say Ragnarok is important because of the character development that happens for Banner and Thor.
No, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Because you get a better look at what the Hulk is like being just the Hulk.
Hulk saved that movie for me. I watched that one like a week before I watched Black Panther, and I was catching up on some MCU stuff. Hulk saved that movie for me, honestly, until towards the end, when I was like, yeah, Thor, yeah, awesome, I like Thor again, yay.
Yeah.
And then I saw this movie, and I'm like, I like Thor even more again, yay.
So, but yeah, we get to a scene where the Guardians pick up Thor floating in the debris. Like, he gets stuck on the ship like he's trash. And I love it because Rocket's like, oh, get him off. He's stuck to the ship. And they get him inside. They have their whole banter about how Thor thinks that they're worthless. His Guardians of the Galaxy. It doesn't believe that Peter Quill's like their leader. And they even make fun of the fact that he put on weight. I don't know if he actually did or not, but they make that a thing.
He does actually look a little bit more chunky, but we'll pass on that.
I just love the fact that Drax is still the comedic focal point of that team.
You can't see him. You can't see him, bro.
I love the fact that when they get him in, he's like, look at this dude. He's like, no,
look at this. You're a dude. This is a man.
He's an angel pirate. It's just the crap that comes out of his mouth. Like whoever's part of the writing team that did that part they get a lot of credit from me because that was beautiful. Like, just oh my god, it was so funny, and the fact that Thor, even when leaving, he still thinks the Guardians are morons. He thinks Rocket is the most intelligent out of them all. He can apparently speak Groot, which is like, I guess should have been.
He mentioned something on Asgard, like
Yeah, it was an elective. He took it as an elective.
Yeah. He mentions it, and it's just really funny. I like that a lot.
Just the thought of electives in school on Asgard. What the hell are you gonna do with Groot? Like, seriously, as a language.
I don't know, but I also like how that also starts off. That whole thing starts off with Groot playing on like his little game thing, and they just ask him to put it away, and he's just like, "I am Groot," and there's like, "Whoa,
language."
Yeah, this is pretty great. Oh man, I just want to know what he said to make the entire crew go, "Holy crap!"
I don't know, but it was funny. Groot was okay in this one. I actually don't like Groot, but he was alright on this.
But yeah, again, I felt like they really focused more of the comedy around the Guardians when they're in scene and Thor to some degree, and not so much elsewhere with other characters because it wouldn't have felt too right. And I don't know where we go from here. I know they eventually they separate. One of them goes to go stop Thanos.
Yeah, this is where it starts jumping around a lot at this point. So it is kind of hard to kind of go down the path of just like this is what happened in order for the movie. So I mean, we kind of just want to.
So Groot and Rocket go with Thor.
Yeah.
To forge
the new hammer.
The new hammer weapon because he needs a new hammer weapon.
Oh, and Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Stormbreaker. And then Gamora, Peter,
and Drax, and Mantis.
And Mantis go to kill Thanos because they think he's going to go collect the stone that the Collector has.
Which is the
reality stone.
Yeah.
They think they catch him, but he's already got the reality stone.
Oh, man, that whole scene drove me up the wall because at the very beginning we lost two big names, right? We lost Loki, we lost Heimdall. Mm-hmm. And so we get into that scene where they're trying to deal with Thanos, and then he captures Gamora. You see him turn Drax into like rubble and Mantis into string, essentially. And I was like, there goes half the Guardians, like right there.
Jesus Christ. Like, well, there goes Guardians 3.
I know. I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then, of course, you have that scene where Gamora had asked Peter Quill to kill her because she knows where the Soul Stone is, and Thanos doesn't know that she knows that. So if she gets captured, please kill me. And he agrees. And I love the way how they did it because I felt like it was a really easy way to do it, and it was crucial to the character. She goes, swear on your mom that you will kill me.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for Peter Quill is his mom. So if he's making a promise on that, you damn well know he's going to follow through with it. You know that for sure. So when you get to the scene where he needs to pull the trigger, it does. But
bubbles.
Because the Reality Stone is in play by Thanos. And I don't know if it should be a compliment or he should be afraid when Thanos looks at him and goes, I like you.
All right.
And then fucking fades out. Like, Jesus. Guardians 1, mama issues. Guardians 2, daddy issues. Guardians, Avengers Infinity War,
Her
in-laws.
her daddy issues.
Yeah, in-law issues, like for real. Like it's just going down the line.
Spoiler alert! Don't worry, there's no more issues to worry about. Too soon? Oh!
Oh, we're not even gonna get into it. Oh boy, yeah.
You're just gonna run right past that one, aren't you?
We're gonna get to that here in a second. So that happens, and I believe we end up coming back to the ship that Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, and Peter are on, or Spider-Man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. At this point,
Right.
they're on the ship and they're gonna try and get Doctor Strange free because
And at
he's
this
just
point,
suspended in air with a bunch of needles pointed at his face and shit.
Yeah, and this is where I take a small like nitpick. I feel like the what was it, the Black Order, are really like underutilized in this movie because again, in the comics, they're much bigger villains. They're much stronger villains too. Like they could easily have shown up. At least these comic book versions of them could have shown up and dealt with the Avengers themselves. They're very strong villains. They don't actually need to be under the order of Thanos, but that's a nitpick for another video.
I would say that this
They,
guy this guy that they were dealing with in this scene in his first appearance, the fight that's back down on Earth, was definitely made to look like a serious threat that could probably handle multiple Avengers on his own. But in this scene, just something different happened. So,
right, the element of surprise is a thing.
Yeah,
I love the references. Like, have you seen the movie Aliens?
that really old movie, Aliens, is the exact line, I believe.
Yeah.
And they blow out the side of the ship, throw him pretty much out the airlock, almost throw Doctor Strange and everyone else out. Which, by the way, the Iron Spider suit, I am so happy about. Because I did not think they were going to do the spider legs. I went into this movie going, if they don't do the spider legs, I'm going to have an issue with this. This is going to be a big issue for me because as a comic book fan, you got to do the spider legs with the Iron Spider suit. You have to, and they did it, and I was so happy. I was so happy. You have no idea. And so, anyways, they get Doctor Strange free. They have their banter about how Tony Stark saved his life, yada yada yada. Doctor Strange rebuttals with, your head is so big, how does it fit in the helmet with that ego? And it was really good banter.
Mm-hmm. Good back and forth. I actually like the chemistry those two characters have, or the way it's done.
Right, I do too. It was pretty great, and then starts questioning like the relationship between Iron Man and Spider-Man. Because it's like, wait, what's going? Like because obviously it looks like Tony Stark is being his dad, and it's just like, what's going on here? Like, it's really good banter, really good writing, and I think it's in this scene that they decide that they're going to take the fight to Thanos, so they're going to go to Titan.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Titan.
So they set off to do that, and I think from here we go to Thanos and Gamora. And it's a flashback?
No, I don't think.
Is it?
There's been a flashback. They go to, I think it goes to Nebula and Gamora.
No, not yet.
Or because I'm not sure if it does that or if it goes to Thor.
I think at this point it starts to go back to Earth and kind of show that their development of what's going on back there. But that might be too soon. I don't remember. Again, it jumps around so much that it's hard to remember what order that things, individual scenes happen in.
Right. So we're gonna try to go about this as best as possible. But I know it cuts from there to either Thanos and Gamora, or back to Earth, or even to Thor getting to that dwarf star to forge the hammer. I don't know which one comes, but if we follow the line where it's Thanos and Gamora, I believe it's a flashback.
Yeah, it's a flashback
of young Gamora on her planet. Thanos is invading. You get an idea of why Thanos is kind of doing the things he does, and why he's not so bad. Like, he gives this whole deal about, resources and everything are finite and populations just grow rampant and out of control.
Yeah.
And someone has to rein them in. And you get to see that in the flashback where he distracts Gamora from them pretty much killing off half her people, including her mom, and all that good stuff. Which was really, I don't know, isn't that an odd scene? It explained a lot, and I wasn't expecting that. Like, all of a sudden, Thanos went from being this, like, comically evil villain to more relatable, which was good. I think it was Thanos' character was really well done in this movie.
Yeah. Like, Thanos just being a villain that has an idea of doing something that is entirely inspired by something that happened to his society, and saying, "I told you so. We could have stopped this if we just did this." Now, the this that he wants to do, of course, is obviously bad, but the end state that he's trying to achieve is a better one than the current state of affairs. And him having that goal and not just being a villain that's I'm evil, let's kill everyone because I say so, is way more interesting than a lot of things that they could have done.
Oh, actually, I think you guys are right. We cut back to Earth, actually, before we get to that scene, and it's them walking into the Avengers place, and Don Cheadle, or War Machine, is talking with General Ross.
Fuck about Ross.
What to do. Yeah, which, by the way, fuck that guy. And I love the fact that Don, what's his name, just, like, kicks him off and is just like, well, I just committed a, crime. And they have this banter about how they're going to get the stone out of Vision. And there's a place on Earth that they can do that, and that's where we end up going to Wakanda.
Yep.
And you guys are going to need to continue the Gamora story for a quick second. I have to deal with some loud cats.
Cats?
Give me 1 second.
It's a kitty cat. Like, dance. It's a cat. And it's
yeah,
really loud.
So they find out, so Thanos finds out Soul Stone is.
Mm-hmm. Which Gamora has known all along, but has been hiding from him.
That I had were blowing out the window. So they go to this planet. I don't know what it was called. I forgot the name of it.
The planet where the Soul Stone is? Vormir or something like that. That might be a freaking Mass Effect planet. I don't know.
Right.
It's something like that. It's something like that.
And so,
but they head off there after Thanos is like basically torturing Nebula in order to coerce Gamora into actually stating where it is, because he used Nebula to reveal that Gamora actually does know where it is. But then they head there so that they can collect it, and stuff happens.
I was not expecting it. You see a hooded figure in dark robes, and at first I was like, "Oh, this is Death." But then you see the light, and you see the face, and it's actually the Red Skull.
Woo! I was like, that actually got me like, fuck. I had to like lean forward out of my seat and just like threw my hands forward, like, what? What is that? It's the Red Skull. Why? When? How? Where? Who? Why? Who? Why is that not Hugo Weaving? I still can't believe it's not Hugo Weaving.
So,
I'm gonna say it's Hugo Weaving because fuck it, it's Hugo Weaving, but it's not actually Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. So it actually makes sense because at the end of Captain America 1, he gets sucked into the Tesseract.
And yep,
just sit somewhere.
No body, no death.
He lands on this planet, and he's the protector of the Soul Stone. And he said, many people have tried, but none have actually grabbed it. Thanos brought Gamora, because you have to sacrifice the soul that you love. And you see Thanos shed a single tear.
He didn't know that, so it just so happens that it was fortunate that he brought Gamora along. He didn't know that the actual sacrifice was required. But upon finding it out is when he begins to cry, because he does actually care about Gamora, which is cool, but also like...
You realize how like complicated their relationship is, because before that, when they tried to keep him from getting the Reality Stone, she thinks she kills him, and she actually cries, thinking that she murdered Thanos.
which
Even though
was a really good scene, by the way. Even though I was just like, okay, this isn't happening. This is some Reality Stone bullshit. Like the way that scene is done, like for a second, I thought it was like this guy's got fucking revival powers or something because he's just talking to her. But no, it was actually Reality Stone, and it's just she's having a vision or whatever. I really like that scene back on whatever planet it was.
Right. And we already talked about how I'm pretty sure you guys talked about it while I was gone. That tortured Nebula. Okay, cool.
Got it out of Nebula.
And so yeah, he sheds a single tear, and it becomes very apparent to Gamora that he actually cares, but he throws her off anyways, and gets the Soul Stone.
He totally cares. That's why he sent people out to kill Gamora before. But we won't talk about that.
Well, it's really interesting because like if you really think about it, he could have just like snuffed out the Guardians right out of the gate, but because Gamora, I think he likes them, he spared them in that first encounter. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe.
But we'll see. But we have that happen. He like wakes up in the ocean, right? And he has the stone in hand. Like all of a sudden he goes from being up top to in this weird place, and then he has the stone and floating in water. And where does it go from there? Jesus, this movie does jump around a lot.
That's what I'm saying. It jumps around so many times that it's very hard to try and explain the movie in exact scene by scene chronological order.
Then it goes back to I think Thor making his axe.
He wouldn't have finished it just yet. It's another scene of them establishing or trying to get the process going. It goes back there about 3 times.
Yeah. It's either that or they go back to Wakanda and they're starting to work on getting the stone removed.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize.
Yeah, it's probably one of those 2 scenes right there. But we also have among those 2 things, we also have the other half of the Guardians meeting up with Tony and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange after they've successfully rescued Doctor Strange. They kind of come to the same conclusion of taking the fight. Everyone there is on the same page about trying to take the fight to him because they're not expecting it. Or they go there
because Nebula escapes after she's being tortured.
That's true. She also
radios for them.
Yeah, she gets in contact with them and tells them to go to Titan. So that's how that group ends up there. But we also have Tony's group, which is trying to take the fight to him. But we have a very large now a group of people assembled on Titan.
I really like the fact when they first encounter each other on Titan, it's literally kind of like a Three Stooges kind of fight. Or just they're bumping into each other, and it's just like it's so disorganized, but like trying to combat each other pretty much. And then when they end up like Peter Quill takes Spider-Man hostage, saying I'm gonna kill him, and Tony has Drax hostage with the blaster like his hand cannon at his face.
Go ahead. He goes,
like, oh, I'm gonna kill this kid if you don't let him go. He goes, go ahead, and he makes the bigger cannon. And I love Drax. Go ahead, Quill. I can take it. And it's this big old cannon just buried on his face. I love it. And, they come to realize that they're both fighting on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to conjure a plan of what they're going to do. And I think from there we end up back on the final scene for Thor, which is pretty much they kick the planet or the dwarf start back up and running. But I think it's the shutter that lets the forge turn on, like breaks,
and
he goes to pretty much hold it open, and it's just a pretty cool scene. Like the whole thing was pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about them having Peter Dinklage play the last dwarf because I felt that's a bit of typecasting, but that could just be me.
I mean.
You literally could have put anybody in that character.
You could.
But, I don't know. Again, minor nitpick, may not even be really an issue. But, does a fine job. Does a great job, actually.
It was fine, though, because it's actually bigger than everyone there.
Yeah.
By a lot.
By a lot. And, but yeah, Thor almost dies getting the forge open long enough to melt the steel. They make the axe, can't find the handle, and then Groot decides to go ahead and just make his arm into the handle, which I thought was pretty cool. And Thor gets Stormbreaker.
Whee!
It goes.
It's an axe. Axes are better than hammers. Whee!
And I think
Wakanda, I believe, after that.
right, and I think before that scene, there was the fight at Wakanda has already started, right? I think we get a scene of the army showing up and marching out.
I don't know if it would have started yet. I want to say that the fight on Titan would have begun first.
Possibly.
And I think it started.
No,
but Bruce.
I think you're right.
Can't bring out the Hulk, so Bruce is in Tony's Hulkbuster armor.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Which is pretty cool, yeah. Oh yeah, you see him like stumble and fall, and what's her name? The leader of the the Iron or the.
Oh yeah, laughed. You see that when Shuri, in the little bit that Shuri talked to Bruce Banner, she scolded him. They didn't do Vision's implant the gem in Vision a certain way.
She's my favorite character in Black Panther, by the way, like by a mile.
She's the best.
She's amazing.
Oh, she is the best. Like, please put her in as a cameo in all movies going forward. Please.
Her weapon is amazing too, by the way. I want it. I want that weapon.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think the fight starts. I think it starts. I think this is where Cap walks up to Proxima, which I think is the female evil Black Order who's leading it, and he pretty much like asks her to lay down her arms and stuff like that. He's doing Captain America. He says something along the lines of like, we don't want to shed blood here, and because you're gonna lose a lot. And she's like, well, I have a lot of blood to spare. And this shit's about to go down.
Yeah, and I think at this point we start to get the fight going on Thanos when he comes back to... I don't remember exactly why he goes back. I just know that he goes back.
He goes straight there.
Yeah, he's straight there after having acquired the Soul Stone to find just Doctor Strange, which he knows is the person that he's looking for to get the Time Stone. And they start to trigger a preset trap, which was very well done, actually, when you think about it. Like, that entire fight sequence was actually really well thought out by them because at this point, Doctor Strange has sat down for a minute and looked at 14 million different possibilities of what can happen, and there's only one that'll work. And he
actually hasn't done that yet. He does that while they're trying to pull the gauntlet off.
No, he evaluated that before they got to that scene. It was one of the first things they did when they all got together. After they fought between each other, it was one of the first things he did.
Peter goes, "Is he supposed to be doing that?" And he looks like he's shaking, like phasing back and forth.
Yeah, I could have sworn that happened like some point middle of the fight.
No, it wasn't in the middle of the fight. But yeah, they said they basically try to spring a trap on him. The trap does turn into a full out fight between all of them, which was an amazing fight, by the way. I like that combat there.
And I love how it captures the humor, which, by the way, one of my favorite lines is from earlier, from Peter Quill, when he realizes that he couldn't kill Gamora. He's like, "I'm gonna shoot that ball sack of a chin off your face."
Right.
And I love that at Thanos. Anyways, going back.
Yeah.
You get the first glimpse I guess you saw when Bruce was fighting that one guy in Iron Man.
I think we're still on this fight. I don't know if it's cut away.
Saying, you get the first kind of glimpse of Tony's nanotech armor, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like he's talking about like at the beginning when they're fighting, you see Tony like bust out some crazy stuff with that nanotech armor.
Oh, okay. I didn't like the look of the armor, by the way. I like the stuff it can do. I just didn't like the way it looked. It was too sleek. But that's just me.
I liked it. Yeah.
No, it's a 1-to-1 to the Extremis armor from the comics. Like in the comics, he makes a suit that does this, but in the comics, it's like silver and gold with gold lining. really gaudy looking. So I was excited to see that. But yeah, you see them set up this trap for Thanos. They go through it really well. It has all the flair to it from every character. You know, Peter Quill's flipping off Thanos as he's jumping through one of the portals. Spider-Man can't stop saying it's magic as he comes out in and out of portals.
Magic
like
kick.
just it's so dumb. I love it. And
Magic with a punch.
and they finally get him restrained, and they're starting to pull the gauntlet off. When Peter Quill gets a moment to stop and go, wait a minute, where's Gamora? And Nebula says he has the Soul Stone. And this is where, which John, I didn't think about this until you mentioned it in the chat the other day.
Yeah.
They set this up in Guardians 2.
They set this up in Guardians 2 because in Guardians 2, as soon as we get to the scene where his dad kind of explains what actually happened to his mom, like, Quill wastes zero time in just pulling out the guns and fucking shooting them. It's like, like, that's what somebody would probably do in that situation, not wait, like, for the rest of the monologue to happen and then, like, start slugging it out. No, just draw and shoot. And that's the kind of person Quill is that most people would probably do that. And now we get to this situation where he's starting to come to the realization Gamora's gone at this point.
Yeah. And he starts asking him while he's being under Mantis's control, because Mantis is trying to put him to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He's asking him, tell me you didn't do it, essentially. And he gets more and more upset and starts hitting Thanos, which essentially ruins their plan. Because it wakes him up. And it's just like, I understand.
But also, no, you stupid idiot, you stupid idiot. No.
And of course, Thanos comes out of it, puts the glove back on, and says, fuck all of you guys. I'm going to throw the moon at you.
They were so close. They literally had the glove off of his hand. He just, as he just woke up quick enough to actually grab the gauntlet back and slap somebody with it before he put it on, I think.
And this is
where... He had Peter.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. There's so many Peters.
Yeah. But yeah, he gets the gauntlet back off. He's rightfully pissed and says, fuck it, I'm throwing the moon at you guys. And that completely caught me off guard. I was like, Jesus Christ.
This whole, like, everything that happens on Titan is pretty much my favorite fight, because every time it cuts to something happening on that planet or in that scene, it's just like, it's an amazing fight sequence. Literally pulling pieces off of the moon and the moon itself to just drag it down and slam it at Tony. Having the fucking craziest wizard fight I've ever seen in a movie with Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange going head to head with him was fantastic. Like, what freaked me out is when he throws the mirror dimension at Thanos, and he's just like, fuck you, and just absorbs it and shoots it right back at him.
Shoots it back, and then he just takes that and turns it into butterflies. Just complete altering reality magic fight. Like,
and then he multiplies himself to try to restrain Thanos again. Like, fucking hell, dude. Like, Jesus, it was a fantastic fight.
Yeah, that has to be, and that has to be my Dungeon Master's wet dream, I swear to God, because he always plays wizards. So.
Right, and we're gonna just focus here on this fight on Titan because there's two fights happening, and trying to bounce between the two in this like the movie does is not gonna help this conversation.
Yeah.
So you have all of that go down. You have Peter trying to keep everybody alive because a lot of them are knocked the fuck out, and he's trying to make sure everyone's okay. And Peter by Spider-Man, I mean.
Right.
And then you get to where it's just a fight between Thanos and Iron Man. And you start to slowly realize the nanotech is starting to fail. More and more of the armor starts to fall off. And something that I thought was really interesting that happens that I didn't think Thanos would ever say is he compliments Tony Stark.
Well, Tony cut him.
Yeah. He cut him across the face, and he's kind of annoyed by it. He's like, all of that for a little cut.
A little blood or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And then when he's got Tony on the ropes and he's going to kill him, he literally says to him, you fought admirably. I hope Earth remembers you. And he does a small monologue about how, like, I know who you are. You're not the only one burdened with knowledge. and gives him a compliment. And I'm just like, holy crap.
What's crazy is that he actually does that kind of thing a lot in this movie. He compliments a
Yes.
lot of the other Avengers that he runs into and fights with, or gets like pretty astonished with like the strength or the ability of the person that he's going head to head with. It's like he's got a huge amount of respect for some of these people, you can tell, and that he visibly states sometimes. So it's like I really like the stuff they do with Thanos, man.
Yeah, because he's
way fleshed out.
He's a very multifaceted character. He's not just evil to be evil, or like in the comics, he's doing all of this for Mistress Death because he loves her and he wants to appease her. That's what he does.
I really hope they don't try to spin that next time. I really hope so.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of don't want them to. I kind of want to let them keep running in the direction they are in.
Yeah, I would prefer it.
But the weird thing is, so we have that happen, and he's about to kill Tony. And prior to this, Doctor Strange made it very clear that he's going to let everybody die before he gives up the Eye of Agamotto or the Time Stone. And as he's going to go to kill Tony, he goes, "Wait, here's the stone. No
Tony
tricks."
or Peter?
What?
What?
For some reason, I thought he had Peter pinned to the ground.
No, he pins him to the ground for a second during the whole fight, but he gets away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He's got Tony like up against like some debris, and he's got him stabbed through the kidney and shit. Like he's about to finish him off. And Doctor Strange gives up the Time Stone, and he disappears. And we cut to now we can cut to Wakanda, where that fight started, which was insane. The start of that fight, because you got these weird like 4-armed, 6-legged dog beast things.
Yeah, real Resident Evil looking motherfuckers.
And they're trying to break the barrier, and they realize we need to open up a part of the barrier, let them in, so we can funnel them in and fight them. And the fight begins. And you just see, like, I haven't seen War Machine actually be effective at all until this movie. Like, I'm sorry, like, I like War Machine, but this is the first time I've seen him do a bombing run, and it's like, that was awesome. Fucking blowing dudes up. You see Falcon wrecking on everybody. You see Cap and Black Panther get to the front of the line and past everybody as they're running in the charge. You know, you see, I can never remember the name, the leader of the Royal Guard from Black Panther.
Okoye.
Wrecking shop. You see, Scarlett Johansson wrecking shop. And it's just a massive fight. Hulk and the Hulkbusters, or Bruce in the Hulkbuster suit is doing great. And I think the only real thing that stood out to me is the scene where it's Winter Soldier and Rocket. And at one point, Winter Soldier picks up Rocket and just starts spinning.
Yeah.
that happened a little bit later.
I know. That's one of the scenes that stood out to me. And I love how he puts him down. He's just like, "Hey, how much for the gun?"
It's not for sale. How much for the arm? He walks away. I'm going to get that arm.
Because I think Scarlet Witch comes down from the Vision because they deploy these
right
wheeled machines. Scarlet Witch comes down, pretty much fucks him up. Here's the first, all along, and then you realize that one of the sneaky dudes is up there already.
And I love the fact that they poke fun at the fact that this is a comic book movie, and like stuff like this is kind of weird. They have her stay back just in case, and you have Okoye going like, "Why weren't you out here to begin with?"
Yeah.
And then they fight Proxima as a trio. I thought that was awesome. Scarlet Witch, Okoye, and Black Widow taking her on. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was gross though.
Oh yeah,
she fucking died.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And then, of course, you have the guy who's sneaking in to take out Vision. Shuri tries her best. She can't really hold him off. Vision ends up fighting him, falling out of the building. And we get this outside struggle. And I believe... who comes to Vision's aid? Is it Cap? To help him? Fight that guy?
I think
I don't remember.
So. But at that point, Thor, Groot, and Rocket have landed on Wakanda.
Right. And Thor makes the biggest entrance that I love. He literally shows up with the portal, just lightning everywhere, looking for Thanos, wanting to know where Thanos is, and he just starts wrecking shop. I love it.
Yeah, Thor. Yeah.
Like, I want Stormbreaker as an actual weapon. That thing is an awesome looking axe.
Thor OP, please don't nerf.
And but yeah, you get them there wrecking shop.
Please make Reinhardt Thor.
And I think you get a scene where you get another scene where Bruce is trying to get Hulk to come out, and I love what he says. He's like, "Come on out," and he's just like, he's no again. He's like, "Oh, come on, you big green asshole! Fine, I'll do it myself." And beats the crap out of the dude that's fighting him.
It just throws him into the barrier and lets him get burned up in that. That was nuts.
Yeah, like it was a really good fight. Vision gets the drop on the guy who's trying to get the stone from him. And then, if I remember correctly, at this point, everything gets still, and Thanos portals in. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. Right about that scene, yeah.
We're not missing anything too big out of the Wakanda fight, because I feel like
I don't think we're missing anything too big. I think I'm not sure if you mentioned. I'm not sure if you mentioned it a second ago, but I think like right before that happens, everyone starts to kind of get overrun in their individual fights. It kind of goes through that panel right before he shows up, so it's just like really.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, now everyone's really fucked because they're already getting screwed over.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets. No, I'm sorry. That was right before Thor showed up. I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that they took some time to even show M'Baku from Panther. And he's doing the chants and stuff like, oh, dude, I got so hyped when M'Baku hit the scene. I was like, yes.
Can I just get that as a ringer? I want that as a ringer. I'll get that as a ringer.
Oh, it was so good. But yeah, you get this all of a sudden this stillness just hits the ground.
M'Baku for best boy.
Yeah, seriously. Thanos comes through. Vision has asked Scarlet Witch to pretty much destroy the stone if he shows up. She starts to hold him off, or rather, she starts to destroy the stone. Cap and everybody else is trying to hold Thanos off. Thanos is literally slapping dudes away. Like, he's not really giving them a whole lot, other than Captain America. You get that small fight from the comics where Captain America goes toe-to-toe with him for a little bit, but it doesn't last very long, because it's Thanos. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, there was another instance there where Thanos was like just kind of impressed, because all Captain was really doing was just holding his hand in place, like,
yeah.
And you could just see Thanos was like kind of surprised by that and kind of respected it before he swatted him away. But he's just like,
yeah, and we're gonna get back to that, but yeah, he swats him away. Scarlet Witch starts to hold him off with her magic while she destroys Vision. She destroys the stone, destroys Vision. Everything's great, right? They defeated Thanos. He's not gonna be able to do the thing he wants to do.
except
And Thanos goes, "I have plenty of time," or something like that.
No, it's like this is not the time to mourn. This isn't the time for anything, or something like. I believe that was what it was.
And then activates the time stone.
Which, by the way, this isn't the time for anything, or whatever that last line is. I need to go look it up and just watch that scene again. Whatever it was, it just made me shit my pants because that was a good line.
Yeah.
Like, all of Thanos' lines were fantastic.
He has a really good one-liners. Yeah.
Josh Brolin brought it. Like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see him play Cable now. I really can't. I want to see that go down. But yeah, so Scarlet Witch had to kill the love of her life, even though he's a robot. He's a robot. She still had to kill him to only see him to be brought back to life, killed for the stone. And actually, we'll get to that in a second.
Not just brought back to life, completely reassembled. Like you see all of the parts come back and forth. So you know that he just fucking blew up whenever he died. So you watch him get rebuilt.
If I'm wrong, I'm gonna go see the movie again, and I'm gonna see if I'm wrong or not. But I think when he brings him back, there's a small moment where Vision is like he's like questioning, why am I back? Like, you see the look on his face of confusion before Thanos rips the stone out of his head.
I think it's right before. I I want to say it's right before or right after he's actually fully constructed. But yeah, I remember seeing that face, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yep. And he takes the stone out and adds it to the gauntlet. And I think at this point is where we hear Thor thunder Thanos, and the axe catches him right in the chest. Right?
With a thud. A really, really, really satisfying sound. Just
yes. And then Thor starts to monologue at him about how I told you you're going to regret this. I'm going to make you like pay or whatever. I forget the exact line. It was much better than
I told you you'd die for that.
Oh, there you go. I told you you'd die for that. And then Thanos softly says to him, you should have aimed for the head. Snap.
The snap, though. And they build the snap. I just want to point out, they build the snap up, rule of 3, because the first time Gamora says it. It's like if he completes the gauntlet with a snap of his fingers or whatever. The second time, he mentions that with the snap of my fingers. And he says it to Gamora, oddly enough, who's like the one that said it earlier. Or maybe it was Nebula, I don't remember. But it's the third time they mention or bring up the snap. And every single time somebody snapped. And he's just it's the third time that it happens in the movie. It's just like 1, 2, there it is, gone. Just flash bright light.
Yep, he snaps, he's gone, and you start seeing people fade away. Now, before we talk about Wakanda, let's cut back to Titan. And let's talk about how Stark is upset and goes, why did you give him the stone? Why did you do it? And Doctor Strange just says it was the only way. And then he disappears. And then you see Drax walk up.
Mantis and Drax, I think.
Mantis first, yep.
I don't feel so good. And then the scene that killed me, and I'm pretty sure killed everybody.
I think it killed everybody.
It killed a lot of people in my theater, yeah.
And I'm not feeling so good, Mr. Stark. What's happening? I don't want to go. And dude, Tom Holland, after this movie, is the best Spider-Man. Because he brought that out. Like, he showed that he went from being Spider-Man to just a 14-year-old, 15-year-old boy afraid to die. And asking Iron Man, his hero, to do something about it.
Yeah, Wooly I'm stealing this from Wooly from the Best Friends, but once again, Tom Holland reminds us that Spider-Man's greatest power is being a child. Because, oh my god, he's a fucking acting in both in Homecoming when he's buried in rubble, and now here when he's just like fucking fear, just real fear. You see it.
Heart-wrenching, the fear on his face, the look on Tony's face as he fades away.
The only people that are left on Titan are Tony and Nebula.
Yep. And Tony just sits there,
I'm
literally beside himself.
Nebula dies, she's like 90% android.
Well, Nebula might play a bigger role in A4, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. And then let's go ahead, now that we've dealt with the bigger loss, because, yeah, Tom Holland got to everybody. Spider-Man, leaving that way, wrecked I'm not going to lie, in full-blown tears. I don't care. I was bawling by this point. We get back to Wakanda, and we see, Bucky walk up to Cap and go, what happened? And just fall apart.
Yeah, and this was technically the first one. This was technically the first one that happened, but
right.
Like when it happens, like they stay still on that shot for so long that it's just like, what the fuck? What? Like I actually I audibly what the fuck in the theater, and like for multiple reasons. One, because everyone's always been thinking it's like, oh, Cap, Chris Evans' contract's coming up, and he's like said he's pretty much done with playing the character. So I mean, who's gonna get the shield first? Is it gonna Bucky or is it gonna be Falcon? That's pretty much what a lot of people have been talking about. And you just see fucking Bucky just gone, and I'm like, they fucking did Bucky in? Are you kidding me? Everyone, that's the Lady Boner character right there. Come on, what? Seriously?
You see Bucky go. You see Scarlet Witch go as she holds Vision, his lifeless body, and then you see and you see War Machine go, "Hey, Falcon, where are you?"
Dead.
As he fades away.
He's fake.
You see
And then
Black
you
Panther go up to Okoye saying, "You can't die on me. You can't die," something like that. And
and midway of picking her up, gone.
That pissed me off, actually. Because I had just seen Black Panther the day before.
It just, whoo, man.
goes to Thanos. He warps out and goes somewhere.
Oh, we also lose Groot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we lose Groot.
Right in front of Rocket, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos is somewhere with young Gamora.
That was technically right after the snap. That scene happened before anybody faded out.
Makes me think that Gamora isn't actually dead, but trapped in the Soul Stone.
That is entirely possible. I did not think of that. That is...
Holy shit.
I like that. Points for Philip.
Because isn't that what happens in the comics? Like, all the people who get killed by the Soul Stone or whatever gets...
No idea.
I think you're right. I don't remember. I'm going to look into that now because I completely fucking forgot about it. Because I was so in love with this movie. I was so upset at this movie at this point. But yeah, you pretty much... Whew, man. Like, heavy hearts. Because it's like you said, it cuts to him all of a sudden with baby Gamora asking him, "Did you do it?" He says, "Yes."
What did it cost, or whatever?
Yeah, she asked, what did it cost? And he says, "Everything." And he sits down on the planet where he picked her up from and just looks over the edge.
Oh, is that what that planet is?
Yeah, that's Gamora's home planet.
Oh, okay.
Thriving. And I don't know about you, but he didn't look satisfied with himself or with anything. Like, he looked...
It was almost like it was on the brink, like the edge of relief, kind of, is what it looked like.
A little bit. And the fucking movie ends. Like, that's where the movie ends. Thanos, like, he got what he wanted. The heroes failed. And the reason, it's cool because you get to see a couple of points where every person who could have stopped him fails because of pride or whatever. Like, they easily could have removed the stone sooner or destroyed the stone sooner if Cap didn't want to keep Vision alive. Granted, Cap is doing Cap. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Like, no one's going to argue with that. But that fundamentally, his morality fails the universe. And then Peter Quill's inability to rein in his emotions fail the team to getting the gauntlet off. And then Thor's ego to want to mock Thanos fails everybody. Like, pride, ego, morale, literally everybody failed because of those things. I'm not saying that it's bad that they stuck to those or wanted that kind of revenge, but if he aimed for the head, he would have killed Thanos.
Right.
Wouldn't have had a chance. If Peter didn't let his emotions take over, they would have taken the gauntlet. You know, like, there's so many. There are some points where things could have been done to prevent what happens. And I think that's a really key that they've showed throughout the movie. I think it's really cool.
And then we get scene.
Oh yeah, we get the scene of Nick Fury with Agent Hill driving through, and then chaos just breaks out because half the universe is gone, half the population of Earth is gone. And if I remember correctly, they get down and he's like, "Agent Hill, I need you to radio in, code whatever," and she's like fading away in front of him as he's asking her to do that, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "What's happening?" And she's just gone.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Fury panics and goes into the car and starts grabbing essentially a space beeper.
Right.
Yeah.
And activates it, and he fades away in the most Samuel L. Jackson way of fading away.
Right.
Right in the middle of cussing, which is great. He's and gone. And on that space beeper, you get a nice gold, or no, it's red and blue.
Red and blue with a white line and a star in the middle.
Of Captain Marvel.
Which I inaccurately described as, is that the fucking Nova Corps? But that's the wrong star. That was the wrong star.
You better be glad I wasn't standing next to you, because I would have smacked you, but it's okay.
It's fun. At least I remember that the Nova Corps was a thing.
Oh yeah, we haven't even touched on the fact that he probably destroyed Xandar to get the Power Stone.
Oh, he mentioned that.
Yeah, he mentions it, but there's no talkings of it. So we are probably going to be seeing Nova showing up in the next set of movies. I'm hoping.
They also mentioned what Hawkeye and Ant-Man are up to.
Oh yeah. They're doing some
one's being a daddy and the other one took a deal. I think both of them took a deal, is what they said, actually.
Yeah, they both took a deal, which is perfectly fine. I just don't know where Ant-Man and Wasp falls into the timeline now.
I think it'll... Watch, it's going to be right in the middle of everyone just fucking disappearing.
Happens before the movie.
I was about to say, I think the end of Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be the ending of Infinity War.
Yeah, it's going to line up with it or something.
Yeah, so I get the feeling that you're gonna see we're gonna see either Wasp fade away, or we're gonna see Ant-Man and Hank Pym fade away.
It's not gonna be Ant-Man, because I feel that one of the things is gonna be him. He's gonna play a major role in Avengers 4, Quantum Zone or something like that.
Ooh, I like that. But yeah, you might be right. I think you're right.
They got to restock that cast, so yeah, you're probably right.
Man, it was funny too, because I had been saying for a little while. I don't know if I've said it to you guys. I know I've said it on some occasions that because I've had people complain to me that they play it too safe with their movies. You don't see any major characters die or anything like that. The closest we got before all this was Rhodey getting hurt in War Machine because the suit got turned off.
Man, you can't even talk about Quicksilver? Jeez.
Fuck Quicksilver. Nobody cares about him.
Yeah, they didn't develop his character enough. And there's Quicksilver. Ed. I mean, damn, I can't think of anybody else. They played it really safe for all the heroes. And I had been jokingly saying, I was like, just wait, they're going to do Infinity War. We're going to lose everybody.
Pretty much. I'm looking at the photo right now, and I'm like, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone.
And as the date got closer to the movie coming out, I actually started joking, saying, there's no way they're going to do that. And some people asked, well, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I explained to them what happens in the comics. And I was like, but there's no way they're going to do that. They're not going to, write off all these people. There's no way. They're not going to just get rid of half of the cast like that. There's just no way. And I actually spoiled the movie for a lot of people, not really knowing that I was spoiling the movie. So the next time we're going to have this kind of outing with a movie, I'm just going to shut the fuck up. Because it's the one time knowing what happens in the comics tells you what happens in the movie.
Well, I mean, anytime you're dealing with something that's based on another medium or another existing title or entry, then it's just you know that there's going to be some stuff that carries over. Not everything is going to carry over, but you know there's some stuff that's going to carry over, and it's just you can't be considered entirely at fault for just knowing that. Now, you do have to kind of keep your mouth shut a little bit, but you can't just be
Yeah, no. It wasn't like I was proactively trying to tell people all about it. It was more of just someone would talk to me about it, and they would ask, well, what do you think is going to happen? It's well, this happens in the comics, but I don't think that's going to be how they play it out. Kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going into this, I expected about 3 or 4, maybe. Then we got 12.
And you think about it, there are 4 deaths that happen that aren't involving with the eradication of the universe. Which is Vision, Gamora, Heimdall, and Loki. So we don't know if we're going to see those characters return. Although Phil did bring up a good
Yeah.
point that she could be trapped in the Soul Stone, so that's pretty cool.
Yay! I know things.
Yay!
I didn't think about that. So, and she has to come back for Guardians, so maybe that's the way they're going to bring her back. But what I don't like is the media and people out there who just don't take the time to look this shit up or pay attention during the movie, bitching and moaning and complaining about how the Hulk was made to look like a little crybaby, like there was no explanation for the Hulk not coming back. And it's like there is.
Just pay attention. He got his ass beat. He's afraid.
And he's very childish of a character. Like he's very adolescent. So what happens to someone who gets their ass beat? You're not gonna want to fight that person again or be near them.
What happens when you eat something that makes you get sick? You never eat that thing again.
Exactly. I hated that people complained about that. I hated that people complained that Vision didn't really get to do anything. It's like, well,
he's also afraid. Like, he's freaked out because he can't do the stuff he normally does because that weapon screwed him up.
He didn't think he could die or get hurt. And guess what? Boy got hurt. Bad.
Yeah.
And I think those are only really big ones that I have been seeing pop up a lot, is people complaining about that.
I hadn't seen those complaints. I can understand why people might have them, but also just watch the movie and pay attention, and it's not a problem.
The other complaint that I've heard that I can kind of understand is how, like, the nanosuit, the Iron Man nanosuit was doing a whole lot, like a lot of work, and some people felt like it was starting to hit the, it's about to break the suspension of disbelief.
I mean, we could talk. We're really going to talk about suspension of disbelief.
Exactly, we're talking about a movie where a dude literally threw a moon at people. Like,
yeah.
So, like, you pick your battles where you will, but I've seen the complaints about that as well. And then there's the biggest complaint, which is, oh, well, they're going to bring them all back anyway, so what does it matter?
And now, I can completely understand that one because no body, no death, and we had all these fuckers disappear with, all they did is turn into dust. And we got a time stone and a reality stone, and if we beat Thanos, we got all the stones, so we can just do the thing.
We can summon the dragon and wish everybody back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get the 6 stones and someone's testicle. I don't know.
You summon the dragon, and then the dragon will make you the Hokage, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just summon Superman, and Superman does all the work. But not the edgy Superman.
Like getting Spawn to come and help.
Oh, God.
Anyways. Oh, that'd be great.
So we have a bunch of deaths that, I don't know. There's a lot of people that do believe that some of those deaths are reversible. I am now in that camp that believe that some of those are going to be reversible in the aspect of do a thing to kind of reverse it, but there's a price for it. So maybe some of them end up staying dead or choosing to stay dead, or they come back and then they get in a fight again and then they die again or something. I still think at the end of the whole sequence we're going to be at about half of what we were before. I do think some of those are going to come back. Now that we brought up the possibility of the Soul Stone thing, I think Gamora is going to come back. I think some of the Dust people are probably going to come back. I'm going to call them Dust people from now on. Is that racist?
No.
Would that be racist?
Maybe. No. But yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm at. But
yeah. Even if they do bring them back, like the fact that they were willing to end this movie on a sour note, I still think lends credence to the movie. Like, the movie's fantastic.
I think there was a lot of people in my viewing that didn't know this is going to be a 2-part setup, because they were astonished when it ended on that shot of Thanos. Like, they were like, Wait, what? That's it? What? Like, they did. I think they completely did not know that this is a 2-movie setup.
Oh, no, the theater I went to, I looked around and there were just jaws on the floor. Like, parents, just all different people, walks of life, jaws on the floor. Kids, not so not so surprised. They weren't paying attention, but like I saw parents in tears and just like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, the two girls next to me were just bawling the entire last 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah, my coworker went and saw it with her, and me and her, we collectively probably could have made up a bucket of tears by the end of that.
I think if I had watched this on opening night and hadn't been part of the initial reaction group instead of having a week of hearing people mention how dark and how like, oh my god, this went, I probably would have been in the same camp. But like having that week of just like, I know to expect something kind of prepared me for it, but I probably would have been in the exact same camp.
Yeah, so they could literally go in any direction with this right now.
Well, so what's on the schedule? They have Captain Marvel next March.
Mm-hmm. And then they have
and Ant-Man and Wasp coming out.
Is that this year?
June? Yeah, it's this year.
Okay. It's July 6th, I think.
Okay.
June 6th.
So we have Avengers 4 next year? Late next year?
No. It's in May. Like, so you're going to get Captain Marvel in March, and then you're going to get A4 in May.
Okay, so then the Captain Marvel is going to be the biggest setup, and that's why it got the stinger.
Mm-hmm. But there's no other movie.
Also,
it's just those two. It's just Ant-Man and Captain Marvel before that.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. We also, I don't know if you guys remember this, but we also didn't see an appearance of Adam Warlock, Space Jesus.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. He's probably gonna show up.
That's Guardians 3.
I think he's gonna show up for A4. I think
he might show up for Captain Marvel.
Maybe. Well, no, because Captain Marvel, her first movie is going to take place in the 90s.
Oh, it's a prequel.
So it's before all this.
So now you have to make if that movie's happened in the 90s, and the best friends actually brought this up earlier as well. If that movie's happened in the 90s, then now you have to come up with an explanation for where the hell she was between the 90s and now.
Well, listen, the galaxy is a big place.
So so she's off dealing with stuff, something else, space and stuff.
Yeah. Essentially. But yeah, they literally can go in any direction with this. I know in the comics, they get together and it's like Adam Warlock, it's Doctor Strange, the Hulk, and somebody else. They somehow are able to get the gauntlet away from Thanos with the help of a whole bunch of other people. And the problem is, not Gamora, Nebula ends up with it. And she becomes such a tyrant so fast that they team up with Thanos to get it from her.
I want that so bad. I want that.
Because, like seriously, like Thanos goes, you guys don't understand. I have the mind that can handle the insanity that is the stones. She does not. And she literally is being driven mad by the gauntlet. So, it's literally that. Just like...
I want that.
It's so dumb, and I love it. It's great.
I'll also accept, since they kind of explained the origin of the stones. I don't know if this was in the comics also, or if this is the actual true origin of them. But them coming from the Big Bang or whatever. I'd also would accept Singularity and just end the franchise and just end the MCU.
Right?
No.
Well,
complete dark ending because there's no light. There's no nothing. Just Singularity. Give me that. I want it.
It's not going to happen, but it'd be pretty cool.
I want it.
What might end up happening is they're going to introduce Celestials and then the Eternals. They may do that. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't even want to extrapolate on that just because.
Singularity.
But yeah, no. The movie was fantastic. I'm honestly surprised even if they ultimately reverse all the stuff they did in this movie, I still think it's a fantastic movie, and the fact that they were willing to let the Russos end it on such a sour note says a lot. Like
Vince Russo? No wonder it was crap. No. Great action, good visuals, good acting. Pretty good decent writing through most of it. Good comedy. Good movie. Good movie. Dark. Singularity, please. End it
Oh
all.
yeah, it was really good. Really, it hit you hard, and it did not.
It did not give up. Like it kept going. And it's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a movie where Thanos shows up and just kind of wrecks on everybody, and that's kind of what he does. He just beats the crap out of everyone. And honestly, compared to his comic book counterpart, those fights should have been all over in like 5 seconds. That's how powerful he really is in the comics.
Well, I'm
Like,
glad.
he's so much stronger.
I'm glad that they nerfed him because they showed throughout this movie almost every single encounter that he got into. They showed that it was definitely possible for him to lose. It got increasingly more difficult because he had more stones each time, but they showed that it's entirely possible. It's entirely plausible for them to win this fight. But
no, and I agree with that. Like it was much better for the movie, and the change they made to his character in general made him a lot more relatable, made everything make sense of what he was doing. And it just I don't know what else I could have asked for from this movie other than somebody doing a Kamehameha blast. And they kind of almost do. Like, actually, Doctor Strange kind of almost does. He literally gathers magic in both hands and shoots it out. Like,
Oh, I don't know what to even. Like, I sat there in the theater for a good 5 minutes after it ended, after the end credits, and I was just. Like, I just sat there.
yeah.
I just stared at the screen and I don't know what to do now. This has been 10 years since it has
been teased.
And 10 years.
What blows my mind is, like, this movie honestly made me just not understand how I felt. I didn't know how I felt at the end of the movie.
I didn't either.
And that blew the back of my head off. Like, I love the movie and I hated it at the same time. So much.
Super anxious actually going into the movie. Because I was just.
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
To end. But I'm glad I watched it. I was just, I gotta go see it again.
So, one of the theories that, or one of the ideas that I've come up with is I think Tony Stark is going to end up taking the gauntlet from Thanos. Or using the gauntlet after they take it from Thanos. And I think this is where we get, he's going to have to give up somebody to use the Soul Stone. And I think it's going to be Steve Rogers. I think he's going to ask him to be the sacrificial lamb so they can right the wrong. And which brings up that whole debate between Captain America and Vision of, you know, it's not we're not going to give up one life for all this. Like, we can find another way. And it's going to come down to this is the only way we have. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think that something like that might happen.
I'll take that trade. I like Captain's movies, but I don't like Captain.
And
I'll take that trade.
Chris Evans exit.
Send him out with a bang. A big bang. Singularity.
Like, signed on for a lot of movies, or what?
He's only signed on for A3, Infinity War, and now A4, and that's it.
He's been saying that he's pretty much done with the character for a while now. He, like, originally there was going to be Civil War, that was it.
Yeah. That's what I think they're gonna do. It's either that or it's Cap and he's gonna sacrifice Tony. Like, it's...
To mention the best scene where T'Challa, not the best scene, but T'Challa said some things and then he's just like, and get this man a shield, and he points to Captain.
Boo.
I like the fact that they gave him the two, like, winged shields and they had stingers in them. That was pretty cool. I also noticed it didn't that scene where Thanos says, "I don't know what joy is, but this does put a smile on my face." I noticed that wasn't in the movie either, which was fine.
After seeing the movie, it's like, yeah, that wouldn't have fit anywhere.
No, we really wouldn't have. And
because it's like, you can tell. No, this guy knows what joy is. It's like, you can tell.
I
wouldn't
feel like
fit.
I feel like that line and like that line was at least recorded before they really made some concrete decisions with Thanos. And then when they made the change, whenever they did, they're just like, we'll just use it for the trailer. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll hype people up. But I don't know. I honestly can't really theorize much more than what I've already said. This is the first time I've been anxious for the next movie. Like, I'm actually excited and anxious for the next movie. So I do not know what they're gonna do. I can't even really pin it down. But I feel like the only thing I know I feel like it can happen is, like I said, Tony might have to sacrifice Cap to use the gauntlet because of the Soul Stone, or vice versa, to fix everything. And that's where you see the loss, the big loss, which is either Cap or Tony.
Singularity.
Because, especially if they're going to bring in like Nova and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and start the new generation, finger quotes, of heroes, with Spider-Man leading charge, you're going to need an older figure who takes up like running the Avengers, and it's either going to be Cap or Tony. That's what it is in the comics.
I think it's gonna be both. I feel like it has to be both.
I would prefer not. I would prefer one or neither, actually.
I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I feel like Bruce is going to retreat into just being a scientist again and working hard to advance the technology for everybody alongside Shuri. I honestly think that's where it's going. I think T'Challa's going to come back and he's going to continue being Black Panther, or
because he's the only one that can. They can't do another one.
Right? They really can't do another one unless they pass that mantle on to M'Baku.
Well, they can't pass the mantle proper.
I know they can't pass it proper, but he's a big boy.
But I'm also okay with M'Baku being a Black Panther even without the powers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Shuri was Black Panther for a little bit in the comics
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was.
Nice.
He was.
as well.
And I think we may not see Bucky return. We may see Falcon return. And he's going to be Cap.
Give one of them the shield.
One of them is going to end up with the shield for sure. Whether one of them comes back or both come back, one of them is going to end up with the shield. I honestly think the A4 is going to be where Captain America exits. I really, really believe that.
I really hope so.
Because it's the right time, honestly, for the character to exit. He's done so much. And again, Chris Evans wants to direct. He wants to do other projects. He really can't with playing this character indefinitely. So
he wants to reprise his role in Scott Pilgrim.
It's called the grind, bro.
I gotta go watch Scott Pilgrim now.
Yeah, I'm nothing without my stud team. I love that character. He's so great. But yeah, I think I think we've come to an end on this one.
Singularity.
I really doubt that, but
I sincerely doubt it as well, but I just want it.
I will laugh though if they actually do that, and I know I'm gonna get a message from you going, they did it.
No, we're gonna watch that movie together, and if that happens, I'm gonna stand up, grab whatever's left of my popcorn, because I always finish my popcorn. Grab whatever's left of it, and just shake it around everyone and say, "I told you so," and walk out of the theater.
Fucking theater staff gonna be all pissed off at
What are
you.
they gonna do? Throw me out? The movie's over.
Oh man.
This movie again.
Yeah. But yeah.
Popcorn too.
I want some popcorn.
Yeah. I think that is the end. Thank you guys for coming by and listening to us rant about a movie that we really enjoyed and hated.
Yo.
Be sure not to fade away. Actually, go ahead and go to that website and check out if you faded away. I lived. Noe died.
I lived.
Noe
Guys,
died.
I don't want to go.
We're talking. We're talking to a disembodied voice, apparently.
Yeah, no, I'm going right now as we speak. I stayed long enough for this podcast.
Oh, so it's like when you take a visit from Snake Way or whatever. You
Yeah.
get the little halo going on.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that's been Infinity War.
That's
We're the Rektfast Club. we'll catch you
I
guys
guess
next time.
a review / just discussion.
Reviews, discussion,
Blah blah blah.
Infinity War cast. Yay! See you next time.